So I'm going to talk to you about how my addiction to self-help books, my acting career, my children, my office door, my accountant, and my dyslexia have taught me everything I need to know about how to make online paid advertising campaigns 10 times better. But before we get into that, what I want to do is make sure that we all get aligned about why companies need to be doing paid advertising. So let's look where people are spending their time versus where companies are investing their advertising dollars. So let's look at print. So print has a dismal 3.5% of our attention, but yet companies are investing 5 times more of their marketing budgets into print. Radio has our attention 11% of their time, or at least our ears, and we're a little bit under-invested in radio. But then we look at television, and television still has actually 36% of our time. Companies are over-investing in television by 38%. And then when we look at digital, digital has 46% of our attention and our time, and yet most companies are only investing 28% of their budgets in digital. We're under-invested by about 20%. So companies need to start investing way more in digital. These are the trends. This is where it's going. Now, if you have to invest in digital, you're going to have to invest in paid advertising. It's a pay-to-play system. And if you don't believe me, let's just take a look at some of the most popular digital channels. Let's take a look at Google. If you want guaranteed visibility on Google, you're going to have to run ads. All those arrows are ads. Same thing with Bing. Boom, ditto, ads. We look at Twitter. Twitter's running ads. They're in on the game. Same thing with LinkedIn. I see 1/3 of the page there is all ads. Even content today, the content that you see out there, content from the web, a lot of it is paid advertising today. With sites like Outbrain and Taboola, you can see here Allstate running content ads. And then, of course, Facebook. And Canadians love Facebook. We spend about 20 minutes a day on it, check it somewhere between 15 to 30 times. If you're not running Facebook paid advertising, you're definitely missing out. Do they have ads? Hell yeah, they have ads. So, if you haven't got the message yet, online ads is definitely where it's at. Now, you cannot listen and you can stick your head in the sand, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if you do this, okay? Does anybody remember this company? Where are they today? They didn't pay attention to the trends, did they? What about this company? Where are they? They didn't pay attention to the trends. They didn't pay attention to the facts. And in fact, if that stuff didn't scare you yet, this is the truth. In 1955, the average life expectancy for a Fortune 500 company was 75 years. Today, in 2015, the average life expectancy for a Fortune 500 company is 15 years. And in fact, in the last 15 years, more than 52% of all Fortune 500 companies have closed their doors. Gone. And the small business stats are even worse. Why do you think that is? My guess is they're not paying attention to trends or facts, which is you need to invest in online paid advertising. So, now that you're all believers, put your hands up in the air for me and say this with me. I believe. Come on, say it. I believe in PPC. All right, now that you're believers, let's talk about my addiction to self-help books and how this is going to help you with your online paid advertising campaign. And I got to tell you, I really do have a problem, okay? I'm reading about a book a week, and I drive everybody crazy. I drive my wife crazy. I'm driving my partners crazy. I'm especially driving my team crazy. I always have some new idea that we got to implement every single week, and seriously, they need to send me to a detox. But the great thing is, one of the first books that I started to read was Awaken the Giant. That's what set me on my journey. Who knows who this guy is? Say his name if you know it. Tony Robbins. All right, that's excellent. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only self-help junkie around here. So Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. And isn't that true? Let's hear you say it. Success leaves clues. All right. Success leaves clues. It's true. And I learned this a long time ago that, if I wanted something more in my life, all I had to do was look at someone else who's getting the success that I want, and probably if I copy them, I'm going to get the same results. So success leaves footprints. And guess what? It's so true and applies exactly to marketing too. Great marketers leave footprints. They leave clues for you. Your competitors are leaving you clues. So basically what I'm telling you is spy. Spy on your competitors. There are so many amazing, great tools today that you can get to that can tell you so many things that are going to shortcut you to success faster and possibly even save you thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's look at some of these tools. So let's say that you want to know who's spending more in your industry, okay? Maybe you're FreshBooks and you need to have this conversation with FreshBooks. Maybe you have an agent for them, or you need to talk to your boss and you say, hey, boss, we're underspending. Well, this is great. This is a great tool. You could show them that one of your number one competitors is spending twice as much as you. And this is a fantastic way to show them because you're showing them and not telling them. We never tell them. We always show them. What if you want to know what your competitors' best ads are? You can do that today. You don't need access to their account. You can do it. Let's say, again, let's use FreshBooks as an example. Let's say I'm FreshBooks' competitor, and I want to look at FreshBooks here, and I want to go, hey, what keywords have they been bidding on for a long period of time? I bet that if they've been bidding on those particular keywords in search for a long period of time, and they have such a high cost per click, like $8 and $5, it's probably profitable. I bet you I should probably bid on those too. I can also see the text ads that they've been using. And in fact, I can see that there's 3 ads, one at 26% of the time, one at 11, one at 8% of the time, that is almost 50% of their ads is between 3 text ads, that if they've been running the same text ad and they've been running it for like a year, I bet you these ads are probably pretty good. Maybe I can use them for some inspiration for my ad. Or there is the possibility, this big warning, is they just may not be really good at what they're doing, and they're not testing enough ad copy yet. Is FreshBooks here? Just give me a little holler if you're here. No, they're not here. Okay, well, if they were here, what I would tell them that if they have been running ads for this long and they're not changing enough ad creative, the way you tell is you can tell by your click-through rate and your quality scores. If you don't have double-digit click-through rates and really high quality scores, and you've been running the same text ads or most of your text ads for 50% of them between 3 ads, you need to start testing more creative. You want to know what keywords my competitors are bidding on that I'm not? Well, you can definitely see that today. Let's say that you're one of the big 6 banks in Canada, and in this example, we're looking at Bank of Montreal, TD, and Royal, but let's say a Royal Bank. And you go, what is Bank of Montreal and TD bidding on that I am not bidding on? Well, you can tell that with these great tools. In fact, right here, there's 167 keywords that Royal Bank is not bidding on, but yet 2 of their competitors are. Why is that? Maybe they should be bidding on those too. Then you can also look at your creatives or other people. You can look it up. We can look at all their creatives. So again, the banking industry, I want to see what creatives they're running. Are they been running for a long time? Are they on the same ad networks? Did they drop some ad networks? If I see a creative running an ad network and it was there for like 30 days and they dropped it and never come back, but another one they've been running for 10 months on that particular ad network, guess which ad network I should probably target? So they just probably saved you maybe thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's amazing what you can learn. Who wants to spy on their competitors on Facebook? Well, you can. Let's say you're a Porter or Air Canada, or let's say that you're some sort of airline company that's a competitor to Southwest Airlines. Well, here we can see that they're running creative in the last 7 days. And if you look at the middle one here, you can see the middle ad right there has 37,000 likes. That's a lot of engagement. My guess is that that offer and that audience is working. And if I was another airline company, I could use that for inspiration. And in fact, they're already testing out stuff that's not working. If you look at the other 2, one only has 4,000 likes, the other one has 16,000. Which one is the working creative? They already solved the problem for us. They probably spent thousands, maybe $100,000 figuring that out for us. Thank you. So you're probably wondering, what are some of these spy tools so you can use them in your business? Well, you can use them too. You can use SpyFu, SEMrush, Addicted, Moat. And in fact, there's 15 other tools that we use all the time when we want to spy on other competitors. And my suggestion is just go over to this URL and download it. So success leaves clues. Success leaves footprints. Don't forget to spy. That's going to save you a lot of money in your paid advertising campaigns. My acting career. That's actually me. 20 years ago, 20 pounds lighter. Very David Hasselhoff. I was a working actor for just over 10 years, and here's some of the things I learned about acting, is you really need to understand the intent behind words. And it served me so well for marketing. You also really need to understand your characters' desires and dreams and what keeps them up at night. And you especially need to understand how to tell a great story. And here's the thing. We've been telling stories since the day of time, right? We've been telling them since we've been cavemen. I mean, stories are a really effective way to communicate. And I don't know why, we do know why humans like stories. The reason humans like stories is because we're emotional beings. I mean, we're just not simply driven by spreadsheets of data, and we're certainly not driven by logic. And if you really want to get to connect with someone emotionally and get them aligned with your agenda, the best way to do that, honestly, is with once upon a time there was and your story. It's just baked into our DNA. We relate to stories. We remember how you made us feel, but not necessarily what you told us. And that's what stories do. They move us with a feeling. So in marketing, with your online paid campaigns, if you really want to inspire someone to take action, which is probably to buy from you, you're going to have to get really good at storytelling. Now you're probably wondering, okay, that's great. How the hell do we tell a story? Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot easier than you think because you've been consuming stories your whole life. So let's just break it down and show you how easy it is. So what do all great stories have? A hero. That's right. All great stories have a hero, and all great marketing also has a hero. So you've got to find the hero in your marketing story. Now you're probably thinking, okay, great, Matt, seriously, like now I got to find my superhero, my Batman and Robin. No, you don't have to actually find that for your business. Who should your hero be? Customer. Make your customer the hero of your story. And it's never been easier to figure out exactly who that hero is today because we have things like Facebook Insights. You can take your buyer list and upload it there on emails or phone numbers, and man, this thing is going to tell you exactly who loves to buy from you. It's going to tell them their gender, their age, where they live, their job title, what websites they visit, what associations they belong to, what kind of books they read, what their approximate income is, if they're looking to buy cars. I mean, it's insane what you can learn about your buyers by just uploading it to Facebook Insights. If you're not using this tool, please do it. Now, you can also look at some data. It's not quite as good as Facebook Insights, but it's still really telling to tell you about who your hero should be. Is you can look at your conversion data in your paid accounts, like AdWords, okay? And I say conversion data and not traffic because the people who visit your site versus the people who buy from you are different. You want to make the hero the people who are buying from you. So pay attention to that information. Now, once you have that information, we want to fine-tune all that demographic information. And the information you're going to want to get is this: age, gender, marital status, location, income, education, job title. You're also going to want to get, magazines that they're reading, books that they like, associations, websites, blogs, and brands that they interact with. And the reason you want to do this is because you're going to be able to spend your paid advertising better. It's going to be tighter focused. Because on a lot of the digital marketing campaigns, you can slice and dice based on these different metrics. It's super focused. So instead of print or television or radio, where you're just whipping mud at the wall, this is laser focused. It doesn't get any better than this. Now, once you get that information, which is actually the easy information, you've got to figure out the hard information. This is what I learned from acting, but understanding the dreams and desires of your character. You need to know what is keeping them up at night. Why can't they sleep? You need to know what is the pain they're experiencing. And at the end of the day, we always move away from pain and towards pleasure. And most of us are usually motivated more by moving away from pain than actually the gains of pleasure. So focus on the pain. That's where you want to really, stick the knife in the wound a little bit and tell them what won't happen if they don't solve their problem, if they don't invest in what you have to offer them. And then, of course, you need to understand the pleasure they're going to get when they solve their problem. Like, how much better is their life going to be after they've invested in your product? Know those things. Understand what motivates your hero. Then you want to create one of these hero briefs that look like this. Okay, this is a great example. You have an image, you have what keeps you up at night, what they look for in their particular product, how they can get your attention, and then some demographic info like female, age, location, interest, job title, and so forth. And then you want to send this to all of your marketers in your team, content, development, design, paid, and they're going to use this. Now, the biggest mistake that a lot of companies make is they make just a couple of these. And really, they need a lot more. Often, you have a lot of different buyers that can buy from you. And the mistake people make and companies make is that they try to do kind of these catch-all buyer personas or these catch-all heroes. Don't do that. Get really specific and create as many as you need from the people that buy from you. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you sell makeup, right? Does a teen consume makeup the same way that a grandma consumes makeup versus a man? No. But yet so many companies are using the same creative or the same funnel and the same marketing messages for all three of these. They're trying to do a catch-all. It's a big mistake. You need to make a marketing funnel per hero brief that you have. Now, once you have all of that, let's apply the story formula. And listen, this story formula has been going on forever. It's in every movie you've seen. It's in every play or theater piece you've seen. We've been doing it since the Bible, Shakespeare. And it's like this. You take your hero, and they experience, guess what? Some sort of struggle. They have some sort of pain. And then, boom, they have some kind of discovery, an epiphany, which ideally should be your product or service. And then, of course, they have a positive result. It's very, very simple. That's what you need to apply to your hero every single time. So I actually created a little sales script for you for this. This works really great. Please steal it, swipe it. It's particularly really good for testimonials and video testimonials. It goes like this, okay? Hi, my name is blank. I've struggled with such and such, and then I discovered, ideally, your service, and now my life is so much better thanks to your particular company. Let's actually apply this a little bit to a little bit of a funny situation. Anybody here know about mom jeans and that mom jeans problem? Okay. Let's have some fun. I want some audience interaction here. So you're going to read the black part, and I'm going to read the pink part. Okay, here we go. You ready? Hi, my name is Susie. New mom, and I just gave birth to my beautiful daughter. Finding comfortable jeans to fit my new mom body. Pajama jeans! And now I feel great and feel great while being super comfy. You guys see how it can be applied? I know it's a little bit silly, but honestly, swipe that script. It works every time brilliantly. Okay, now if you guys are like me, I learn a lot better from looking at real case examples. So let's actually apply this story formula a little bit to this. So here's a company that we are looking at, and they have one of these catch-all landing pages for their business. They had nothing that was really specific to all the different buyers that can buy from them. They're in the credit card processing industry. They accept, they have POS devices that help you accept credit cards, okay, and interact. This is their mobile credit card page. Now, they're sending traffic from all types of industries that are here, but there's so many different industries that can buy from you, right? I mean, is really an HVAC professional the same thing as a personal trainer? Not in their eyes. They believe they have unique problems. We need to give them a unique experience. And the beauty about online advertising today is you can target people based by their job title or by their associations. You can laser target these individuals. So what we did is we took our team and in a couple hours, using an awesome tool like Unbounce, and just whipped together a quick landing page. And boom, just imagine if we're targeting an HVAC professional. What page do you think is going to convert better? If we send them over to that page, this page. This page. It has the hero there, has the POS terminal there. It says, does your HVAC business need to accept credit cards on the go? My answer is yes, it does. Getting started is easy. Okay, fantastic. 3 easy steps. There's the credit card symbols there. It's very clear for me. Now, a lot of you always come back to me. A lot of companies will come to me. It's like, well, we can't really create a funnel for each single buyer like that. Yes, you can. It's really easy. Here's the personal trainer one. Was that a whole lot harder? No. All we did was change the hero image and change a couple words in the title. And now it's a personalized experience that's going to convert a lot better. So the lesson that you need to learn here from my acting career is you got to know who your heroes are. You got to tell a great story, and then give those people a unique experience. If you do that, this is what's going to happen. You're going to make your online paid campaigns rain. I can tell you right now, tell great stories. Now, my children. You're all probably going, cute. Look at those cute little boys. But I got to tell you, that's not really what it's like at all. Some of you who are parents are here. Well, I'll tell you a typical evening for me at home. I get home at 6, and I've got the little one there, and half the time he's crapped his pants, and I'm cleaning him up. And at the same time, I've got the older one whipping spears at the window at the neighbor's dog. Well, the middle one downstairs thought it'd be funny to paint the couch with butter as the dog's licking off it. That's a typical evening for me. You parents are laughing because I know you know what I'm going through. For those of you that are not parents yet, you could, it's maybe a lesson on birth control. But here's what my children taught me, as you can hear from that experience every single night, is that attention spans are really short. Okay? Let's look at some data here. They did a test. I don't know who did the test, but let's say it was someone important. They did a test in 2000, and they determined the average attention span for people was 12 seconds. They did this same test again in 2015, and the average attention span is 8.5 seconds now. Do you know what the average attention span is for a goldfish? 9 seconds. I don't know what that says about our society, but this is what's happening, is that it's a fast-scrolling world, and you really need to work really hard at making your ads stand out. So you're probably asking, okay, great. I got to make my ads stand out. I get it. Attention spans are short. People are scrolling through their phones. How do I do that? How do I know if my ad's actually standing out? Well, it's actually really easy to know. It's really based on two major metrics, okay? Your click-through rates are up, or your engagement is up, okay? Let's look at this information real quick. Let's look at example like Facebook, engagement. Okay, they have something called relevance score. 1 is really bad, 10 is amazing, okay? The higher relevance score you have, they reward you with a lower cost per click at the end of the day because they want a great experience for their audience. Basically, if people don't engage with your creative, and the way they engage is by commenting, liking, sharing, time on your creative, time on your actual landing page. If you notice in Facebook when you're on your phone, you don't even leave the Facebook interface. They know exactly how long you're consuming that content. And that's going to determine the engagement. And the more engagement is up, the more they want to reward you. So as you can see right here on the screen is that as your relevance score goes up, your engagement goes up, your costs go down. So that's how you know. So it's good for two things. One is engagement's good because you're getting the attention you want. And two, your costs are going to go way down. Well, it's the same thing for platforms like AdWords, okay? Which is based on quality score. And I know most of you know that, which is really driven by click-through rate. And you're going to see the same thing here. 1 is bad, 10 is great. And the closer you get to 10, your costs go down. And really what you want to get is at least 7s. 7s are good, 8s are great, 9s and 10s are what we call unicorns in the industry. And they're fantastic. If you get unicorns, you should be giving each other high fives. It's a fantastic campaign. Okay, so here's the secret formula, though, to really making your creative and the whole stuff work together. So it's like this. You got to know who your buyer is. Target them very specific with the creative. So target based on those demographics that we talked about, okay? And know who they are. Talk about that in the acting. Where? What platform? Is it Facebook? Is it AdWords? Is it Twitter? Is it LinkedIn? You got to get that right, too. Then you got to understand the desire and the intent. What's really motivating those people to take action? And then you got to have the right bait or offer. And if you have that, you will have success, okay? But you need all 4 things lined up. If any one of those things are missing, your campaign is probably failing. And sometimes you don't know which one it is. Sometimes you have to test to figure out what it is. But that's the secret ad formula. Let's look at some examples, okay? So let's look at these 2 examples here. I like to learn from examples. I don't know about you guys, but here's what we're doing. We're on Google, okay? That's the platform. The audience is the same because we're bidding on the same keyword, basement renovation, so it's probably a family who wants to renovate their basement. But yet we have 2 ads here, okay? So we have the ad here, basement renovation contractor, 20 years experience. And then it says, do you need your basement renovated? We can help. Call for us quote. Not a bad ad. Pretty typical. You see that a lot. Then we have basement renovation contractor, 20 years. Again, it's the headline. But the difference is, find out how this mom renovated her entire basement for under $25K. Which ad did better? Which one? Curiosity one, exactly. So here we go, look at this. The top one there, click-through rate, 4.33, $8.80 cost per click. We wrote a better creative, it dropped our costs, click-through rates went up, and that one was definitely the winner. And you're right, whoever said curiosity, that's the reason why it happened. We needed to find what was the right bait. What was the right bait to get them to click through? Also, we need to understand what the desire was. Yes, they want a quote. Of course they want a quote, but really the desire is, can I cost effectively renovate my basement? And the answer is, sure you can, right? Okay, let's look at Facebook. Here's another great example, okay? So here's Touch Bistro, fantastic, amazing app for restaurants. In fact, I wish this app was around when I was a server in restaurants and bars. It would have saved so much time. So we had this creative that was here. So there's this creative here. We're targeting restaurant owners. The audience is the same. Platform is Facebook. It says, do you own a restaurant? Reduce your costs, of course. Why wouldn't they want to reduce their costs? The offer is very simple, free. Try for 30 days. But then we realized, wait a minute. Maybe we actually don't have the right offer. I mean, the right audience. Or even necessarily the right offer, right? In the sense of what's really done. It says, finally, there's a more efficient way to take orders. Share this with your boss if you want to stop running between table and counter. Want to stop running between table and counter? Tell your boss about Touch Bistro for a free 4 weeks. Look at that. 1.6 likes. Almost 1,000 shares. Do you know what people are doing on that? They're tagging their bosses. Do you know what happened with this ad? Increased leads by 200%. So what did we get wrong here? We got wrong, the audience was wrong. We were targeting the owners. They were taking some action, but it wasn't great. But as soon as we targeted their employees, we really got their attention. It worked really, really well. So here's a big warning about ad fatigue. This is very real that you need to understand about all creative. So not only are attention spans short and people are really scrolling really fast, this is a real thing. A lot of companies underestimate how much creative and offers that they need to create. If you look here at this graph here, once we get to a frequency where people have seen your ads 5 times or more, click-through rates start to decrease and cost per clicks start to increase, okay? So once you notice that you're hitting about 5, you're probably going to want to change your creative or change your audience. Okay, my office door. I hate our office door. This is Ryan here, God bless his soul. He's sitting down here taking our notes. And everybody in our team cannot know whether to push or pull on our office door. And literally, we've been there a year, and they still don't know whether to push or pull. Is this their fault? Are they dumb people? No, we hired them. They are not dumb. They are freaking smart. But yet they can't figure out where to push or pull. The reason being is because the door has 2 handles. It's fundamentally designed wrong. What side, if you had to pull, there should be a handle. If you don't have to pull, there should be no handle. There should just be a push bar or a pad, nothing. It should be intuitive. And here's what my office door taught me about your online advertising campaigns. People are not making stuff intuitive. And it's killing it. It's tanking your campaigns. And I'll show you some examples of what this is. Here's a landing page. A guy came to us. This is a landing page for an ebook. Would you know that that was about an ebook? No. So again, we took Unbalanced, took an hour on our team, and we redesigned it. Ebook. Intuitiveness. We need to understand it in just a few seconds, because if we don't, you know what we do? People love their back buttons. And the truth is, most of your websites are converting for less than 5%, which basically means 95% of your visitors are just leaving. Your paid visitors, you're sending paid traffic there, and they're just leaving because you're just making things so hard for them. There's a whole book written on this. It's called Don't Make Me Think. Don't make the traffic that you're sending to your landing pages and through your paid campaigns, make them think. Let's look at another example. Here's Royal Bank, right? Great creative. Actually, it's not a bad creative. Free debit transactions. Who doesn't want that? I do. Okay, open an account, and man, I'm going to get an iPad. Awesome. But then they send me to this page. Where does it say free? I got to choose 3 things. Then there's some guy. I don't see the iPad. I have to think. I have to figure this out. I have to choose. I'm just going to hit my back button. But instead, again, we took this real quick and redesigned this page real quickly. Boom. Doesn't that match the scent of what the creative was? It says, get more free. Open your no-limit banking account. There's the iPad. Yes, I want no fees, and I want my iPad. That was your offer, and yet you didn't send us to the same offer. You just killed like 99% of your conversions. Don't do that, okay? So scent is really, really important. My accountant. Not really my accountant, but I thought it'd be funny. My accountant, so I'm a little embarrassed to tell you this, but a long, long time ago, my finances were not necessarily really great, okay? And I was saying to my accountant, man, I really need to save. And he said, no, Matt, don't save. Do this. I want you to do one thing. I want you just to write down everything that you purchase for the next 30 days. Promise me that you'll do that. I said, okay, I can do that. I wrote it down. End of the month, I get to the end of the month, I realize $800 on dinners and takeout, $300 on coffee. You start to really realize where you're going wrong. I bet your butt that I changed my way of doing it. And that day, that inspired me to start tracking everything fanatically. And if you track things fanatically, then you can actually optimize them. I love when people and companies come to me and tell me about optimization, and yet they have no conversion tracking set up. Okay? Yeah? How the hell are we going to do that? If you log into your analytics account and you have no goals, nothing set up, we can't tell where things are actually firing on the sales and revenue, how are you supposed to optimize it? You can't. But the amazing thing that can happen for you is you can save so much money so fast with so little effort once you start tracking things, okay? If you measure it, you can improve upon it. You must track it. So let's trim the fat. You can trim the fat once you do that. It's really easy. Here's an example. Who here wants to know how to get an extra 200 leads with less than 5 minutes worth of work? Yeah, exactly, right? Well, this client was tracking things right. And what we noticed in their AdWords account was they had 5 campaigns. 2 campaigns were producing 0 conversions, and yet they were spending $12,000 on those campaigns. And yet they had 3 campaigns that were producing lots of conversions, but yet their ads were turning off every day because they didn't have enough budget for how much inventory was there. All we did was click pause on the 2 campaigns that were working, move the budget over to the campaigns that were working. It's called budget allocation. And literally in 5 minutes, we were able to generate an additional 200 leads for them. You can't do that if you're not tracking. Who here has heard of the 80-20 rule? Okay. For those of you that haven't, basically the rule goes like this in marketing, that 20% of our marketing efforts are driving 80% of the results. And you're going to notice this. If you log into your AdWords account and you run a keyword versus conversion report for the last year, you're going to see there's a whole whack of keywords probably in your account that you're paying clicks on that don't drive any conversions whatsoever. And yet you have keywords that are driving conversions, and yet you're not showing up for those keywords all the time because you're running out of budget. What you need to do is just pause out the ones that aren't working. You can only do this, though, if you're tracking right. You must become fanatical about tracking, and then you just trim the fat. Okay, my dyslexia. My dyslexia can tell you a lot about your online paid campaigns, but let's talk a little bit about it first, because a lot of people are confused about it. And so, believe it or not, actually 10% of the population suffers from dyslexia or some kind of learning disability. What I thought was really interesting, I just discovered recently, is that 35% of entrepreneurs are actually dyslexic. It's me. And the rest are probably actors. And in fact, if you don't believe me, let's just look at some of the people who have dyslexia. These are all people. It's very common. It's 10% of the population. But what people don't understand with dyslexia is that it's where people actually have trouble with reading and writing and enunciating words. So most of us, like me, I know all my words by memory. I have a very difficult time sounding out words. If I run into a word that I have never seen before, I'm surely going to stumble. Also, when I'm writing, it's very common for me to miss words. I just don't see them. Like, I'll write a sentence and I'll miss entire words, chunks of words. If you get an email from me and you see us missing words, that's the reason why. I just can't see it. So a good way to describe it is that you kind of have word blindness, okay? And here's the one thing I've learned, from having a little bit of a disability, is that, all businesses have these blind spots, all of them. Everybody does, in just different ways. And what I've learned from, being dyslexic is that I've really had to slice things into little bite sizes of information and use repetition. I mean, repetition has been king for me, and it's what saved my life, is just practice and practice and rehearsal and rehearsal. Well, it's the same thing with marketing. You need repetition. Often people are not going to buy from you the first time. This is why retargeting is so important. They need to be exposed to your brand over and over and over again before they build loyalty and trust to buy from you. So you need to break your information into bite-sized pieces. Also, the other mistake that a lot of companies make is they're literally trying to win the game in one try. They don't break it up into micro steps or micro purchases to get people started, right? If you're working with a dyslexic or a child who's dyslexic, the first thing you want to do with them is just find little commitments that they can have success with. Because success begets success. Well, it's the same thing with your marketing. Purchases lead to more purchases. We just need to break it up more. And there's actually, I'll give you an example of how this works. So McDonald's, everybody knows McDonald's. They spend about $1.91 in ads to get someone there to buy a hamburger. That's their only goal. We just want to get them there to order the hamburger, which is $2.09 approximately, which gives them a gross profit of about 18 cents. But what do they say to you when you're there? Well, fries, Coke with that, want to supersize it, right? Which is about $2. And that costs them almost nothing. That's really where they make most of their profit. That's where they're 10xing their profit. So their goal was just to get you there to make one small purchase, and then they're using upselling and cross-selling to get you there. You need to do that with your business. Try to find ways that you can make it easier for your customers to buy with you in smaller purchases. There's actually a system for this. It's called the value ladder. Okay, and it works something like this. Give away something cool, then you engage and educate them, then ideally you get them on a small commitment. Ideally it's a subscription, some sort of continuity program. That's ideal so that you can continue revenue in for your business. And then as you build trust, you can give them some sort of VIP experience package. Now, I'll give you some examples. Let's look like an e-com one. So an e-com one could be like this. You offer some sort of product that doesn't really cost you a lot of money. You charge free plus shipping. In fact, a lot of times you can make money on the shipping. But it gets them in the door, and now you have that traffic, its own traffic, because they bought something from you versus rented traffic, okay? The next thing you want to do is, hey, while they're there, why not try to upsell them? You see this all the time, right? On Amazon, customers who bought this item also bought this item. There's a percentage of them that will always buy something more. Then, we get them onto some sort of subscription. This is like Amazon Prime, Audible, something that's small, micro payments that continues the revenue driving. And then for them, instead of having like a VIP package, they're really smart. They turn a percentage of their sellers, in their buyers, into sellers. And they crowdsource selling. They get other people to do that. Isn't that amazing? Let's look at a small business one. So some of you are small businesses. Let's take an example, a dentist. You can afford to give away a free teeth cleaning and get people in the door. Why? Because the minute that you're there, you're going to tell me, hey, do you smoke? Are you drinking coffee? I'm going to be like, why? Well, your teeth are a little yellow. Nobody wants yellow teeth. Do you want yellow teeth? No, you're going to be upgraded right into the teeth whitening program right away. And then on your way out, what does the front desk do? Well, let's sign you up for the next 6-month checkup. There's the continuity program. Next time you come in, we're going to upsell you. Hey, I think you're grinding your teeth. You might need a retainer. Next time you come in, the gap in your teeth? Why don't we do some surgery or braces, right? I mean, you can afford to give away a free teeth cleaning to get them up the door and then move them up the value ladder, right? Another example here is, maybe this is one that you recognize because you just might be in it right now. You got a checklist. Then you're in some sort of webinar, or maybe you subscribe to some sort of software that saves you some time, a micropayment there. And then maybe you're in a paid conference. Anybody in a paid conference? And then ideally, you move into the continual improvement program, which is really a fancy way of saying retainer. So you got to really understand what my dyslexia has taught me is you got to break things into small little pieces and give people an opportunity to make small little purchases over time, okay, to have success. Now just imagine, those are the 6 core principles there that are really going to improve your advertising campaigns online if you deploy them. And just imagine how much money you're leaving on the table when you're not doing them, and I know a lot of you are doing them, but don't worry. Listen, it's when you're in the thick of it, I get it. Sometimes it's really hard to see the trees from the forest, right? But this is why you need a coach. Listen, all peak performers have coaches. They know their numbers. You know your numbers. They know exactly what they need to do. You know exactly what you need to do. But they just would not be able to perform on game day the way they perform without a great coach. So ask yourself in your head, just ask this question. Do you have the right digital marketing coach for your business? If the answer is no, you know what to do. Let's summarize real quick. Self-help addiction, okay? What it can teach you is that success leaves footprints. So spy on your competitors, spy on great marketers, and shortcut yourself to success faster. My acting career, that can teach you a lot about your online campaigns, okay? You need to know who your heroes are. You need to have a unique story for each buying persona. Kids, attention spans are short, okay? You got to have amazing ads that stand out. Office door, make your website and landing pages intuitive. Accountant, measure everything, become fanatical about it, and then trim the fat. Just get rid of the crap. Okay, dyslexia, success is achieved with repetition, play the long game, and offer little steps that your customers can take. And of course, get a coach. If you guys want to get in touch, that's how you can get in touch with me. Thank you very much.